There is an old dog asleep in the sun by my workshop door this morning, and come the spring he will be 18 years old. His name is Shep, the third dog I have owned by that name, and he is gray all around the muzzle now and slow to rise, but he still walks the fence line with me of a morning the way he has since he was a pup, no bigger than my boot. The young man who keeps the animal clinic in town looked him over last fall, ran his hands down his back and along his ribs, and asked me straight out what on earth I had been feeding him all these years, because he does not often see a farm dog reach such an age still sound on his legs. I told him the plain truth, which is that the secret is mostly in what I have never once put in the bowl. Most dogs in this country are gone by 10 or 11, and their people call it a good long life. Ours go on for near twice as long, and it is no accident, and it is no special breed, and it is nothing you cannot do yourself, starting tonight. It comes down to 3 things we have never fed a dog, not one time, in all my 65 years. And every one of the 3 is likely sitting in your own kitchen this very minute. Now think on your own dog for a minute, or the one you had before him. You bring him home a fat, happy pup, and he grows up right alongside the children, and he meets them at the door every single day when they come in from school. And then, somewhere around 10 or 11 years, his back legs start to give out under him, and the gray comes into his face, and one hard winter he cannot heave himself up off the floor anymore, and you make that slow drive to the clinic that nobody ever wants to make. It comes far too soon, and it empties your pocketbook besides, for the last sick year of a dog is dear. The pills, the visits, the special food, in the little cans that costs more than what you feed your own family. I am not going to sit here and tell you I can make any dog live forever, for I cannot, and no honest man would ever say such a thing to you. What I can tell you is that a great deal of what carries a dog off early does not come from bad luck at all. It comes off the kitchen counter and out of the bright treat bag, a little at a time, for years on end. Take those few things away, and you hand a dog back the good years that were his to begin with, and it does not cost you a cent more than you already spend. It costs you less. My name is Gideon Riehl, and I have kept dogs on this same ground in Lancaster County the whole of my life, the same as my father did before me and his father before him. A farm dog here is no pet that lies on a velvet cushion. He works for his keep. He moves the cattle up the lane. He keeps the groundhogs out of Esther's garden. He sleeps across the barn door at night where no fox dares come. We have always kept them, and we have always kept them long. So when I tell you a dog can live to 16 or 18 years in good health, I am not repeating a thing I read off a page somewhere. I have buried dogs at that age with my own 2 hands, out under the walnut tree behind the barn, and grieved them the way a man grieves family, because that is what they were. Stay with me here, because 2 things in this matter, more than all the rest put together. There is one thing a great many kind, good-hearted people spoon straight into their dog's dish, believing it a treat, that quietly does him real and lasting harm. And I will name it plain before we are through. And there is a study the big dog food company ran on their own animals 14 years long that puts a hard number on the very first thing I am about to show you. I will get to both, I promise you. First, the plainest of the 3. Here is how the old plain way of feeding a dog got lost, and I will tell you now, there is no villain hiding anywhere in the story. It simply got easy. Time was, a dog ate whatever the family could spare, and not one bite more. The trimmings off the meat, the cracked bones, the heel of the bread, honest scraps of real food scraped from the plates. A man fed his dog by eye and by hand, and he kept him lean without ever trying to, because there simply was never any extra lying about to make him fat. Then along came the great sack of feed with the little scoop tucked inside, and the whole aisle at the store filled floor to ceiling with treats in bright, crackling bags, and that soft-hearted habit of sharing every good thing off our own forks. None of it, mind you, was ever meant in anything but kindness. But kindness with the food bowl is the very thing that shortens a dog's life today. and there has never once been a dollar to be made in telling a man to feed his dog less than he does. So the plain way went quiet, a little more of it forgotten with each passing generation. Let me hand it back to you now, one thing at a time, in order. The first thing we never do is let a dog grow fat. Not ever, not even a little bit. This is the one that matters most by a long mile, so hear me out, even if it stings a little, because a good many dogs in this country, more than half of them, the animal doctors will tell you, are carrying too much weight, and their people cannot even see it anymore, having grown so used to the look of a heavy dog that it seems the normal thing. Now here is that number I promised you. The big dog food company, Purina, ran a study on 48 of their own Labrador dogs, and it went on for 14 full years. They fed the one half all they cared to eat, and the other half a quarter less, just enough to keep them lean and no more. The lean-fed dogs lived a middling 13 years against a hair over 11 for the well-fed ones, near 2 whole years longer out of that one single change and nothing else. And they came down with the aches and the diseases of old age far later in life besides. 2 years. On a creature whose whole life is so short to start with, that is a mighty gift to hand him, and it costs you not 1 penny. It saves you the price of all that food you were overfeeding him. So how does a man keep a dog lean without a scale, and without ever once starving the poor creature? You use your own 2 hands, the way my grandfather showed me when I was a boy. Run your flat palm along his side, over the ribs. You ought to feel each rib there, plain under the skin, like the knuckles on the back of your own hand, felt through a thin cotton glove. Not see them jutting out sharp, mind, but feel them easy without having to press. Then stand over him and look straight down, and there should be a waist to him, a place behind the ribs where he tucks in. If his back is flat and broad as a tabletop, and you must dig your fingers in to find a rib at all, he is carrying too much, and you cut his food back by 1/5, and you hold it right there a full month. We feed a grown dog the once of an evening a measured amount into a plain dish, and that is the whole of it. And when those soft brown eyes look up at you begging at the supper table, and they surely will, you remember this: you are not being cruel to him by saying no. You are buying him another summer to lie in. Now I will be honest with you in a way those bright bags at the store never once are. A fat dog looks content. He wags his whole hind end. He eats with a great joy. He seems for all the world the very picture of a happy, well-loved animal. And that is exactly the thing that makes this so hard, for every soft feeling in your chest tells you to give the fellow more. But the weight settles onto his hips and his heart and his joints, and it robs him quietly for years, long before you would ever lay eyes on the cost of it. And I will tell you, I have made this very mistake my own self. When I was a younger man, I had a fine dog named Bess that I loved far too much with the food bowl, and I lost her a good deal earlier than I ought to have, and in my heart I knew the why of it even then. So understand, I am not preaching down at you from up on some clean and tidy height. I fed a good dog into an early grave once with my own kind hand, and I have never done it again since. Being firm at the bowl is about the kindest thing you will ever do for a dog in your life. Everything else I am going to tell you now is easier than this first thing. The second thing we never do is feed a dog off that list of ordinary people foods that quietly poison him. Most folks know of not a single one of these, and they are common as dirt in every kitchen in the land. Onions and garlic come first, and I mean the whole of it. Raw, cooked, the powder shook into a gravy, the very scrapings of a stew pot. There is something in the onion family that goes after a dog's own blood, breaking down the red of it until the animal turns weak and tired and short of breath. And worse, it builds up in him over time, so that even little bits shared again and again will do their harm in the end. Grapes and raisins are the next on it, and these are worse yet, for they can shut a dog's kidneys down outright and kill him. And not a soul on this earth can tell you a safe amount, because a few grapes have done in a grown dog while another ate a whole handful and walked off fine. It is simply not worth the guessing. In this house, the onion skins and the grape stems go out to the hogs or onto the compost pile, never ever to the dog. And it has been so here long before anyone could give a reason for it. 2 more on that same list, and here is the one I gave you my word on at the very start. The treat that kind people spoon out believing they are being generous with the creature. Chocolate is the first of the 2, and most folks do know that much, though not that the dark baking kind is far and away worse than the milk, carrying a thing in it a dog's heart simply cannot handle, that sets the poor animal racing and shaking. But the one that truly catches good people out is a sweetener they call xylitol. It hides in sugar-free chewing gum, in some mints, and, you mark this well, in certain jars of peanut butter that are sold as the low-sugar kind. And peanut butter is the very thing folks love to smear down inside a hollow toy to keep a dog busy of an afternoon. That one sweetener can drop a dog's blood sugar clean to the floor inside of an hour and harm his liver on top of it, and from an amount no bigger than a stick or 2 of gum. So before you ever hand over a spoon of peanut butter, you turn that jar around and you read it every single time, and if it says sugar-free or lists that word out, it never once goes near the dog. That, my friend, is the thing in your own kitchen right now that I warned you of. The third thing we never feed a dog is sweets and soft store junk of any kind at all. Not the sugary treats, not the children's cookies, not the greasy scraps of fried food off of our own plates. A dog has no need in this whole world for sugar, and it does him the very same 2 harms it does a grown man. It rots the teeth in his head, and it pads him over with fat. By 3 years old, most dogs already carry a mouthful of rotten teeth, and the sweets and the soft canned foods are a good part of the why of it. What we hand a dog instead is plain, real food. He was built by his maker to eat a bit of meat and its trimmings, an egg from under the hen, plain scraps of vegetable out of the garden, and a good raw bone now and again to scrub his teeth clean, though never once a cooked bone. Mind, for the cooked ones splinter sharp and can cut a dog to pieces inside. It is the cheapest feeding there ever was, being mostly what would have gone to waste in the pail anyhow, and it is the very same feeding that kept dogs sound and long-lived for hundreds of years before the bright bags were ever dreamed of. Now let me stop right here and grant you the other side of this, plainly and honestly, because you deserve that from me far more than you deserve a tidy little promise. These 3 things are no magic, and I cannot hand you any guarantee of 18 years. No man can. A dog's breed and his blood matter too. The small dogs tend to go on a good deal longer than the great big ones, and some lines simply carry a weakness in them that no feeding on earth will mend. And feeding a dog right does not take the place of the animal doctor, not for one moment. We still see to the shots that keep off the sicknesses which killed dogs by the score in my grandfather's day. And if a dog of ours takes ill, we carry him straight in, the same as we would carry in a sick child. I leave the doctoring to the ones who trained for it. That is their calling and not mine. What I am handing you is the part that comes before ever the doctor is needed, the daily bowl, which is the one thing that rests wholly in your own 2 hands, and the one thing that does more good over the whole span of a dog's life than any pill or any visit ever will. And it is not only the count of the years that a lean, plain-fed dog gains you. It is the kind of years they are. That same study on the Labrador dogs found the lean-fed ones came into their old age far sounder in the body. Half the hip trouble by the time they were grown, and a great deal less of the stiff, aching joints that make an old dog's last seasons such a misery to him. I have seen it plain with my own animals. A heavy dog at 12 can barely drag himself up the one porch step, sore in every joint from hauling all that weight about with him his whole life long. My Shep, at going on 18, still walks the fence with me of a morning, slow but steady on his feet, and lies himself down easy at night. That right there is what the Plain Bowl truly buys you. Not merely a longer life for the animal, but one where the dog is still himself near the end of it, still glad to work, still able to climb up onto the porch beside the children. A few more good years, and good ones at that, not just more time spent hurting. That is the whole of what I am ever after with an animal, and it sits within your reach every bit as much as mine. For the folks who would like the whole of it set down in proper order, I have gone and written it all out plain. The exact amount to feed a dog by his size, so that you are never left standing there guessing at the scoop. The full list of every last people food that harms him, printed out large enough that you can tape it right up inside the cupboard door where even the children can read it and learn it young. And a short, honest list of the plain, safe treats that we do give our dogs, so you are not left with nothing to reward the fellow. I put the whole of it into the Plain Kennel Guide, and the link to it sits right down below this video. It is there if you would care to have the long version in your own hand to work from through the years of a dog's life. That is the one and only time I will bring it up to you. Now let us get back to the dog himself, for there is more here worth your while than any guide of mine. Step back with me a moment now and think hard on what these few extra years are truly worth to a family. A dog that comes to you a small pup when your children are little will, if you feed him right, still be there to walk them down to the gate when they are near grown and fixing to leave the home place for good. He is the one creature in all the world that chooses to spend the whole of his short life right there at your side, asking almost nothing of you but a fair bowl and a kind word and a place by the door. The English will spend a small fortune down at the clinic in a dog's last sick year, chasing back the very troubles that too much food laid onto him in the first place. We spend next to nothing across the dog's whole long life, and we keep him sound and happy nearly to the end of his days. It is the same plain lesson as near everything else we live by out here. What you leave out of a thing will often do it more good than all that you pile into it. Feed a dog less, feed him plain, and keep the poisons well off him, and you will have him with you longer and better than you ever once believed you could. So here is what I would have you go and do this week, and I have kept it short enough that any man can hold it in his head. Tonight, run your flat hand along your dog's side and feel there for his ribs, and stand over him and look down for the tuck of a waist. And if you cannot find those ribs easy, you cut his food back by a fifth, starting tomorrow morning, and you hold it there. Measure out what you feed him into the dish from now on, instead of filling it up by eye, and feed a grown dog the once of an evening. Then walk through your kitchen and put the onions and the garlic, the grapes and the raisins, the chocolate, and anything at all marked sugar-free up out of that dog's reach for good and all. And read the peanut butter jar before ever it touches a spoon meant for him. Stop the sweets and the soft fried scraps and give him plain real food in their place. Keep his water dish clean and full. And you see your animal doctor for his shots. Not one of those things costs you a dime you're not already spending, and taken all together, they can hand a good dog years. Now, I would truly like to hear back from you on this. Down in the comments there, tell me your dog's name and his age and his breed if you happen to know it. And then tell me honest, which one of those three things were you feeding him all this while without ever once knowing the harm in it? There is no shame in it at all. I fed my Bess wrong for years and loved her the whole time. I read every comment that comes to me, every one, and I will tell you straight what I can. And before you go on your way, feeding a dog right is the one matter, but the fleas and the ticks that ride in home on his coat and torment the poor creature all the summer long are another matter altogether. And we have kept them off our dogs here for as long as anyone can remember, without ever once buying one of those chemical collars down at the store. Next time I will show you the plain old way we do it, and it costs about $1 to the whole season. Until then, you go on and feel for those ribs tonight, and you measure out that supper. A good dog gives you the whole of his life and asks so little back. The least that we can do is feed him in a way that gives us a few more years of his to keep.